The United States Department of Justice recently made a decision to release a significant number of files connected to the late Jeffrey Epstein. This action placed a large volume of complex legal and investigative documents into the public domain, where they were quickly accessed and shared by millions of people across the internet. The release was not a simple, clean unveiling of information. Instead, the documents were heavily redacted. This means large portions of the text were blacked out, obscuring names, dates, and other specific details. This redaction process is a standard legal procedure intended to protect privacy or ongoing investigations, but it also creates gaps in the narrative that can be very confusing for the average reader. The presence of these blacked-out sections immediately became a point of major focus and speculation. As organizations like NPR have reported, the state of the documents led to widespread discussion and, in some cases, significant criticism. Some online commentators began to share previously published court filings that were also redacted, but they did so out of context. They used these older, unrelated documents to build a narrative suggesting that the current administration was deliberately altering the files to protect certain individuals, including former President Trump. This environment of suspicion and partial information set the stage for a firestorm of conspiracy theories, which began to erupt on all sides of the political spectrum, each side interpreting the redacted pages to fit its own narrative. The immediate aftermath of the release was a chaotic swirl of online activity. People saw the documents not just as records, but as puzzle pieces. However, without the full picture, many began to fill in the blanks with their own assumptions and biases. The difficulty in understanding the heavily redacted files meant that a clear, factual interpretation was almost impossible for anyone without a deep legal background. This complexity did not slow down the spread of information. In fact, it seemed to accelerate it. The mystery created by the blacked-out text fueled an intense desire to find answers, even if those answers were built on shaky ground and incomplete evidence from the start. Within the newly released documents, certain names immediately captured public attention. The names of Ivana Trump were found within the files. Their appearance triggered an instantaneous and powerful reaction across social media platforms. These names were located in materials such as a contact list, other miscellaneous notes compiled during the investigation. For many people, the mere presence of a familiar name in a file associated with Jeffrey Epstein was seen as conclusive evidence of wrongdoing. This assumption, however, overlooks a critical distinction. Inclusion in a contact list is not, by itself, proof of criminal involvement or association. It is important to understand what a contact list represents. As a source like IMDb noted in its own review of entertainment-related connections, being in someone's address book phone list simply indicates that some form of contact may have occurred. It does not specify the nature, frequency, purpose of that contact. Prominent public figures, especially those in business and social circles like the Trumps, often have their contact information shared widely, and can appear in the address books of hundreds of people, thousands of people. Therefore, the appearance of their names does not automatically imply participation in or knowledge of illegal activities. This context has been frequently lost in the rapid-fire exchange of online posts. Fact-checking organizations have worked diligently to clarify this point. They have emphasized that while the names are factually present in the documents, drawing a direct line from that fact to criminal culpability is a leap that is not supported by the evidence at hand. For instance, the research notes indicate that while Ivana Trump's names were found, beyond the contact lists, the Epstein files contained far more disturbing material, specific, graphic allegations of serious crimes. Some of these claims directly named members of the Trump family: Donald Trump Jr., Ivanka Trump, Eric Trump. According to fact-checkers at Snopes.com, one document contained a shocking account from an anonymous source who claimed they were abused by these individuals. The line, which was quoted and spread widely online, stated, "Forced to allow them to penetrate us." The visceral horror of such a statement understandably caused it to go viral. It was presented by many as a bombshell revelation from the newly released files. However, the context behind these allegations is profoundly important and has been consistently highlighted by fact-checking organizations and major news outlets alike. The most serious and specific claims did not originate from sworn testimony. They did not come from victim interviews conducted by law enforcement, nor did they come from any form of verified evidence. Instead, reporting from the New York Times and others confirms these allegations came from unverified anonymous tips submitted to the FBI. The FBI's National Threat Operations Center allows the public to submit information by phone. It also accepts submissions online, and these are collected as part of the case file, regardless of credibility. The anonymous nature of these tips is a critical detail. FBI records show some submitters provided no contact details, making follow-up impossible. Others reported second-hand information or rumors they had heard elsewhere. The FBI investigated these submissions, and in many cases, found them not credible. That means investigators could not find supporting evidence to substantiate the claims. The raw, unevaluated tip was included in the document dump, but the file's official assessment of lack of credibility was often left out of viral posts. This is a crucial distinction to grasp. The release included a wide range of materials, from concrete evidence to unsubstantiated public submissions. When a post quotes a shocking line from a document, ask where that line came from. Was it from a victim's court testimony? Or was it from an anonymous, unverified message sent to an FBI tip line? Section 4. Official warnings from the Department of Justice. In response to the public confusion and the rapid spread of conspiracy theories, the Department of Justice issued official statements. These communications were designed to provide clarity and to caution the public about the nature of the released materials. The agency's spokespeople explicitly stated the collection was not a curated set of proven facts. Instead, the DOJ emphasized the files contain numerous unverified submissions from the public. This includes tips, claims, allegations. Those items were sent to the FBI, which is obligated to log them, but has not necessarily substantiated them. This warning serves as an official acknowledgement that content could be misleading without proper context. Officials specifically addressed inflammatory allegations that gained traction online, calling them unfounded and false. This direct language from the primary source counters speculation on social media. The department pointed out a key detail about timing. Certain reports alleging high-profile misconduct were made around the time of an election. That raises the possibility the tip line was used for political purposes to damage opponents. When the investigating agency says files may contain false information, it should prompt greater scrutiny. Not everything in the documents can be taken at face value. Section 5. The viral spread of misinformation. The question of why these unverified claims spread so quickly and widely is a complex one, but it is rooted in the mechanics of modern information sharing. Social media platforms are designed for speed and emotion, not for nuance and verification. A shocking headline or a startling quote can be shared with thousands of people in a matter of minutes, often without the user ever clicking to read the full context. People see a short, decontextualized post, have a strong emotional reaction to it, and hit the share button. This cycle repeats itself, amplifying the initial claim exponentially until it becomes a dominant narrative, regardless of its factual basis. The redacted nature of the documents played a significant role in this process. As NPR's reporting highlighted, some social media users were sharing heavily redacted pages and presenting them as proof of a cover-up. A page full of black bars is visually dramatic and invites speculation. People naturally want to know what is being hidden, and in the absence of information, they may fill in the blanks with the most sensational possibilities. Bad actors can exploit this tendency by presenting a redacted document alongside a completely fabricated explanation of what is underneath the black ink, knowing that many people will accept the explanation without question. Politics also acts as a powerful accelerant for misinformation. In a highly polarized environment, any piece of information that seems to damage a political opponent is seen as valuable ammunition. The Epstein files were released into this charged atmosphere, and they were immediately weaponized by individuals and groups across the political spectrum. Section 6. Practical steps for navigating the news. In this complex and often confusing information landscape, it is more important than ever for readers to be cautious and critical consumers of news. The first and most vital step is to resist the urge to treat every claim as an established fact. Before you accept or share a piece of information, especially if it is shocking or emotionally charged, take a moment to check its source. Look for reports from established, reputable news organizations that have a public record of high journalistic standards. Seek out dedicated fact-checking websites like Snopes, PolitiFact, Associated Press Fact-Checking Division. These organizations specialize in verifying claims and will show you their evidence and reasoning. Second, pay close attention to official sources. In the case of the Epstein files, the statements from the Department of Justice are a key piece of the puzzle. When the DOJ warns the files contain unfounded and false submissions, that warning should be taken seriously. Official statements provide an anchor of authenticity in a sea of speculation. Always look for what government agencies are saying on the record. Always look for what courts are saying on the record. Always look for what law enforcement is saying on the record. While these institutions are not infallible, their official communications carry more weight than an anonymous social media account or a hyper-partisan blog. Compare what officials are saying to what is being reported. Third, always be mindful of context. A single quote or a redacted page shared without its surrounding information can be profoundly misleading. If you see a claim online, try to find the full document or the original report it comes from. Read the entire article, not just the headline. Look to see if the information is from a sworn witness. Look to see if the information is from an anonymous tip. Ask yourself if the source is providing a complete picture or just a small, sensationalized snapshot. Understanding the full context is one of the most effective tools against being misled by partial truths. It helps you see the bigger picture and evaluate the information more accurately. Finally, exercise caution when sharing information.